To know and not to do is not to know.
To know and not to do is not to know.
Yeah.
To know and not to do. Yeah, no, fact. Welcome to the new Black is the New Rich podcast. And we are at episode 5 today. We're at a different location in Hamilton, Tuscany Studio, brought to you by my friend,
Racquel Chase.
Okay, so today we're gonna have a little bit of a different episode, but not so different. So she is a entrepreneur, full-time entrepreneur and single mom. So I obviously found that super interesting because as an entrepreneur myself, I have no time. So now I wanna know how she navigates through life and how she gets through her days being a full-time entrepreneur. So would you like to introduce yourself again?
My name is Racquel Chase. I own this beautiful salon we're sitting in, Tuscany Studio, and I'm also a realtor and, like you said, a single mom of one little boy.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay, so before we get into you owning the studio and being a real estate agent, give me some of your background. Like, how did you even get to this point?
Oh gosh, that's a long story.
Yeah.
Like,
let's back it up. Like, for the last, how long have you had the studio?
Going on 7 years.
Oh shit, it's that long already.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay, so let's back that up to around 7 years ago. What was going on? Like, how did you make the decision to get the studio? Like, what happened?
What happened?
Yeah.
So 7 years ago, before the studio came into my life, I was actually working 2 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I was living in Toronto. I was working retail and working at a restaurant. A lot of people know it, Copacabana. And I was at the store.
I didn't know you worked there.
Mendocino?
No,
You didn't know?
No.
Yeah, I was a hostess there. I was working 2 jobs.
Okay, lit.
Yeah, you wouldn't know at those times.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so yeah, I was doing that, and then me and my boyfriend at the time, my son's dad, found out that we were expecting. Well, I found out. And it kind of went from there, to be honest. Oh, I was also studying real estate at the time as well.
So you got your real estate license then? Oh, you're good.
No, I didn't get it then. I was just in school for it. So I was on, I think, the 3rd course at the time. At that time, you only do 3 courses and then 2 extras after. And then it changed, obviously, after the years. But yeah, that's what I was doing at that time. And then I was talking to my brother's, at the time, girlfriend, and she worked at the salon.
Yeah.
She worked at Tuscany.
Here?
Yeah, she worked at Tuscany
cool.
Sun. So we were just talking, shooting the shit. And she mentioned that the owners were going to be selling, and we're going to sell it to one of the employees. And she told me the price that they were going to sell it. So
I couldn't resist.
Yeah, I couldn't resist. And it was just kind of perfect timing. I was expecting, working 2 jobs that weren't going to hold on to me being pregnant.
Yeah.
Because I'm not the image.
You couldn't do maternity leave on those jobs?
No, and I wouldn't get anything.
Yeah.
Because I was just part-time at both.
Yeah.
And I wasn't in real estate yet.
Yeah.
So, and it was very important for me to be able to stay home with my child and, breastfeed, do all that fun stuff. So this literally, I can't say fell in my lap, but it did.
So in my opinion, when people have successful business endeavors, there's like a little bit of luck that plays through and good timing. Would you say that's that?
Yeah, absolutely. This came into my life for a reason at the right time when it needed to.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Because you I guess you dive into like entrepreneurship, you're opening up your own business. Like, where did the business background come from? Or did it just read like, shit, I'm going to throw myself in the fire?
No, so it's funny because when I lived in Hamilton when I was younger, because Hamilton's where I'm from, I grew up thinking I wanted to be a dentist.
Oh.
And the fundamentals behind it were really just money. I was really just like, I need to be financially secure. What's a job I can do? And I knew dentists made obscene amount of money at that time and had great benefits, et cetera, you know what everyone pretty much does. And then I met my son's dad and we started seeing each other, and I was talking to him about I was going to school, et cetera. And he brought up going to school for business.
Oh. Okay.
And I took his advice. I went to school for business instead. I didn't finish it because you know, life. I was in a toxic situation, so it was hard to kind of study and do all that. But that's definitely what got me into the business industry.
Okay, dope.
Yeah.
So here we are. Now we are at Tuscany Studio. We're a real estate agent and you're a full-time mom. How do you balance the time?
It's a lot.
Yeah.
To be honest, it is hard to do. And I'm still working at it because.
So you wouldn't say like you got it down pat?
No, absolutely not. And I don't know if I'll ever have it down pat because I mean, as you grow, new opportunities come across and things like that, you know? So, I mean, I'm getting better at managing my time and knowing like when I wake up in the morning, Monday to Friday, first is get my son ready.
Yeah.
That's first.
Yeah.
It's London time.
Yeah.
And then after that's done, okay, now it's time to get yourself ready. I'm at the salon. I know what days I'm there and what time I'm there till. And then I know I have to pick my son up for 6. So I have 2 hours to spare to maybe like get in contact with my real estate clients, look stuff up for them. It's just about organization. Organization is really everything.
So you have to be organized doing all this. So then obviously you're going to come across some tough days, right? And right now your son is 5?
6.
6? So he's 6. How do you explain to a 6-year-old that might be saying like, you know, like just how do you explain to a 6-year-old that wants your time that may sometimes can't even get your time?
Yeah, that's I've made it a thing from with my son from when he was really small to communicate with him like he is a human being.
Yeah, like he's
grown. Not like he's grown, but obviously with its limits. Like I don't you know, use different words and stuff I shouldn't with a child.
Yeah.
But I've done that. So we have a very open communication, me and him, and he knows that I work a lot.
Yeah.
And I know he doesn't fully understand it yet. Even like he knows I have the salon, he knows I do real estate, but does he know what I'm actually doing?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. But yeah, I just try to communicate with him. And I also to make sure that he has a schedule for himself. So he kind of knows what it's like. Like he knows that if he's at jujitsu or he has jujitsu from 4 to 5 every day, well, that he's not going to have time to go be with his friends. The same way if mommy's at work, I don't have time to be home and playing. Do you know what I mean? So it's like if we have priorities and I try and teach him that if you sign yourself up for something, it is your priority until it's finished. So like jujitsu, these were things I wasn't taught when I was young. So it's very important for me to let him know that. He's a kid, so everything I've put him in eventually gets old.
So he gets bored.
He gets bored and then he doesn't want to go. So it's very important for me to make sure that even if he doesn't want to go, it's something he signed up for. It's something he's going to see through and he's going to give it 100% while he's doing it. So yeah, that's...
Okay. I'm going to jump right into the good stuff. All right. So for the people that don't know, single, married, divorced, what is it?
What do you mean? Oh, me? Single.
Yeah.
Single.
Okay. So everybody, she is single. Okay.
Very single.
Okay. So being a full-time entrepreneur, being a full-time mother, like how do you even, because you're so responsible now, like how does a guy potentially even fit into your life?
He doesn't. I'm joking. No, to be honest, it's hard dating at this age. Why? Well, because I'm approaching 30 years old. Okay. And approaching 30, I have obviously had my fair share of experience dating. And I was in a 6-year relationship with my son's dad. I know a lot more of what I want now as a woman. And obviously I believe relationships are all about compromise, you know? But it's gonna take someone special to come in and make me compromise on my life that I've built for myself.
What's that special man look like, or what does he have to have for you to pique your interest?
It's a good question. So to be honest, one thing that's very important to me is that he knows himself.
Okay.
That is very important because I don't really believe in the codependency thing. That's not a place
not at this time.
That's not
gas
somewhere,
prices are too high.
Right? Like, that's not somewhere I want to be.
Yeah.
Or put myself in that position ever.
Yeah.
So I do believe if he knows himself, and that means so much in a couple words. Yeah. Like he knows himself. He knows what he likes, what makes him happy. He has drive.
So confident, drive.
Yeah. Ambitious. Like,
okay, cool.
And responsible and just independent.
Yeah. Because you can't give all, like, I guess with your situation, your time is split up already.
Yeah. So when I think about like, okay, now I have a man in this equation.
Yeah.
He's got to be holding his own, like he's got to be doing his own thing.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
So basically, you're not his number one priority kind of thing?
No. And I don't want him to be mine.
Yeah, okay, fair.
Like,
fair.
No.
Okay, fair.
But I feel like codependency is a lot more of the norm, just because what we've been taught growing up and stuff, you know? So it's a little harder to find.
What do you see out here these days? If you can't find what you're or if you didn't find what you're looking for yet, what do you see that's not cutting it?
To be honest, I feel like a lot of men, and this is just men I've come across, want me to be more codependent than I am. They want to feel
not gonna happen.
They want to feel needed more, and they want to feel I guess wanted. I guess wanted more, you know? And again, like know yourself. Know what you bring to my table. And I'm gonna know myself and know what I bring to your table. And either we can benefit each other and grow together, or it's not a vibe. Like,
okay, fair. So when it comes to men and business or just being an entrepreneur, obviously I can only imagine how many people come to you and like, oh, let's do business, but they're really trying to, they're trying to get to know you on another level.
Yeah.
How do you maintain your respect and integrity, and how do you keep your boundaries boundarying?
Yeah, that's a hard one because I find myself getting into these positions a lot.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know me personally. I'm a very nice person.
Yeah.
I'm a very nice person to a limit. And I'm still trying to find my balance on keeping things like on a respectable page, I guess, without making like hurting men's egos almost. It's honestly, it's hard. I'm still finding my way because I am a nice person, and I do often feel like men take that and kind of run with it and just see how far they can get, like in the midst of talking about business, just comments and, stuff like that. So it's hard. I'm still finding my way, to be honest.
Jeez, because obviously, like, I feel like entrepreneurship is like a male dominant sport. So for you to get your respect, it's like you have to go like almost harder, or like be more assertive, or maybe even be mean when you don't even want to be mean.
Literally. Yeah. It's all three of the above. I feel like every industry, unless it literally comes down to beauty and aesthetics, and even a lot of the financials behind those are male driven. So, I mean, like personally, I know like a lot of spa owners whose husbands are the financial backing behind that. You know what I mean? So we somehow end up in this male world, no matter what, which it is what it is, but, and I do find that often puts me in a very male state of mind where I can't just be like fully feminine. I do have to have this guard up. I do have to maybe like
your boundaries.
Yeah, like I have to have this not approachable feeling to me or energy to me when I go out places and stuff, because I need people to take me serious for what I'm there for. And that's
a tough one.
That's a tough one. Yeah.
Okay, so now it's 2022, and you're not a person that really enjoys social media. So your social media is on and off, and obviously there's a lot of businesses that run through social media, and you have 2 successful businesses. How do you maneuver without being reliant on social media, especially in today's day?
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's very, very hard. And constantly every day people are asking me like, why aren't you on social media? Why don't you have social media? Why aren't you social media famous? Like it's constant. Me personally, I have this salon, right? And I meet a lot of people in here. I love all of my clients. So I try to form relationships. If I do cross paths with you, I want to form a relationship. And I'm good at that. And me forming relationships means our conversation's not going to just start and stop when I meet you. Yeah. It's going to continue on. And then hopefully referrals and things like that come from that. And that's how I've been doing it so far. But I will say I am going to get back on social media because it definitely does benefit. And especially while we're closed off and can't necessarily go everywhere and can't socialize like we used to, I won't get my chance to just physically meet people.
And I feel like you have so much story and so much to you that social media will definitely benefit you. And I've been on you for a long time. Jeez. So you mentioned a key word. You mentioned relationships.
Yeah.
How important is relationships in business?
Oh, very important. Very important.
And because basically you need it for a good relationship is good business. Yeah. And you're like, to be honest, like, because I've seen you in here, you're like a therapist almost in here sometimes.
Yeah, all the time.
How's that for you? Because sometimes you're taking on people's bad days, right? And then you have to go home and be a mom, a happy mom. Sometimes it's a heavy load. Sometimes, how do you deal with that?
I think a lot of it has to do with my own background personally, like growing up and stuff like that. I've kind of always played that support role, just within my family and stuff. So I like to see people happy, you know, and if they're not happy, I do believe I have an ear and I can listen. So having that, what I guess some would call skill, I like to use it. So when I come here, I mean, some people might look at listening to people's sometimes small problems that they're letting, you know, really ruin their day as a nuisance. But I enjoy it because I know my clients feel a lot better after they get it off their chest. And I know they
you're in a wellness studio too, right? Yeah.
And then I know they appreciate my opinion. That's why they're bringing it to me in the first place. And the fact that they feel like they can come somewhere and let this weight off their shoulders, I'm happy to take it because I'm not actually taking it on. I've at least learned that much this far along to not actually let it affect my life unless it personally affects me. So yeah, that's balance.
Balance. Okay, dope. I'm going to ask you a question. What does breaking generational curses mean to you? It's a loaded one. But we talk about it all the time and like, you know, like how we're going to change our trajectory for our families and stuff. And I would love for you to share it, to be honest.
So breaking generational curses to me. So when I look at my life, and I look at growing up, and I guess a lot of people would call it the way I was programmed, because I do look at children as like, they're like an empty hard drive. And the people they're around most are the ones wiring those wires. So when I look at my upbringing and my programming and stuff, and now being a grown woman, I can see a lot of the bad wiring, like like, and I can see it because I'm going through it.
So you're rewiring.
I am rewiring
what you're actually grown up to be.
Pretty much everything.
How hard is that?
To be honest, it's extremely hard. So it's a mind war. That's what I would call it. So I was never taught to like punctuality, not a thing. Go to school, I mean, if I want to. Like, you know, so playing on sports teams, I was really good at sports, but my coaches could never rely on me because like, was I there at morning practice?
You just did what you want.
I just did what I wanted, right? And then when you grow up and now you have to be at a job, you have to do all these things, you have to have all these responsibilities. These things are important. Someone like me, because I wanted to do better. I had that feeling from me when I was little. I wanted to be better than what I was being shown. And it's literally to the point where you're trying to wake up in the morning, or me, myself, I'm trying to wake up in the morning, and my body and my mind is just like, no, just sleep. Just sleep. You know, open up the studio late. Like, your clients won't care. Close it for half an hour extra. And I'm literally there like
battling yourself.
I'm fighting myself. Like, it's just me, but I'm literally fighting myself. But there's so much importance behind it, especially because I have a son. And I think me having my son is what actually pushed me to realize that
he's watching,
and it doesn't matter what the hell I tell him, because my parents told me to go to school. They told me to go to practice. They just didn't show me that it was important. I need to be at those things, you know? So,
because a big part of teaching is, okay, you teach someone how to do something. But teaching them why is another part to it too, that I feel like our parents' generation, I'm not saying they obviously they just didn't know better, but they didn't teach us the why we're doing something. It's just like, do this, do that, do this.
Yes, exactly.
So I think now in our generation, we have the ability to teach our kids why. Why is this important? Right?
Yes.
Why do we obey certain authorities?
Yeah.
And then have them think for themselves, and then
because
make a final decision.
It is important. I feel like us learning it where we're learning it at, some people are already 10 years deep into learning. Like, their kids come up naturally, and it's just a natural subconsciously they're doing these things. Whereas me, I have to consciously do them. I have to literally like everything, even just what time I feed my son, you know? I feel like I'm reprogramming pretty much everything. The food I put in my body, the way I treat my body, the people I hang around, the things I do for my what's like the way I spend my extra time, the way I sleep, like everything, everything. And it's a lot, but it's so important. I feel like if more people did this world would be a way better place. Way better.
Okay, dope. So you mentioned something important that I want to get into, and you mentioned friends. How important is your circle of friends?
Very important. And this took me some time to figure out, to be honest, because I used to be I always was one of those people that are like, no birds of a feather don't flock together.
Well, they definitely do.
They definitely do. Now, mind you, do I have friends for different things? Yes.
Fair.
Do I have friends I enjoy going out with because they're way more energized and outgoing than I am? Yeah. Do I have friends that I like to just come over and chill at my house and do nothing with? Yeah. I have friends for everything. But friends are very important, because just like a partner too, and just like a parent to a child, those people that you spend your time with influence you in ways that you don't even know.
Exactly.
They're influencing
you.
You know, so
everyone's an influence.
Everybody.
Yeah,
so
literally.
like, that's why I said, like, being a parent, like being a friend, just like in a relationship, you have to choose wisely about the people that you choose to have around you.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. I know you have, or probably have had, like childhood friends that, you know, you kind of drift apart, your interests are different. How do you, let's say, separate yourself because you're on different trajectories, or they're not where you're at yet? And how do you separate yourself but still maintain the love for them?
That's not hard. At the end of the day, the love I feel for someone it's a feeling, you know, it's the human in me. And I have friends from kindergarten that I'm still cool with, and I don't need to talk to them for 3 years, like 3 years plus. But that love is always there. It just means we're on just different paths right now. Will we meet up one day where we're hanging out again all the time? Possibly. I don't know, because I don't know what's going on in their world. And I mean, I don't know what my future holds. Everything anyways, you know? So I think it's pretty easy to maintain that respect and that love for someone, but also understand that you guys are on two different journeys right now. And you gotta part paths. Like sometimes it sucks.
Yeah, no, sometimes it does suck because, you know, now that I'm getting older, I just feel like not everybody grows at the same pace. So I don't even look at certain people maybe in my circle that, oh my God, they're not on my pace. They're not going to places where I like them to go. But at the end of the day, I was at a place where I was fucked up. I was doing fuck shit. And I just have to stay humble
You just have to wish, and wish the best for them. Wish the best for them, and but the best for you
as well
might not be
the best for them.
And that's
and that's 100% facts. And just be open to the time if they do come to you for help that you're willing to help them. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, if you can.
They're still your dog. If you can, they're still your dogs no matter what. Because cool. What type of impact do you want to leave on the world?
Type of impact. If I could leave any impact on the world, it would be to show it. I wouldn't even say it's a woman thing. It's more so just like a human thing, that mental strength is so important.
It definitely is.
Mental strength is so important, in that if you work on getting to know yourself and being confident in yourself and being comfortable with yourself, you know, really getting to know who you are, that you can really do anything you want.
100%.
And when I say that, I'm talking to myself too, because it's not easy. Like, it's not an easy game trying to get past your fears and things like that. But I do believe that once you tune in and you're confident enough, you can do anything.
So let me ask you a question. What are some tactics or some things people can do if they're not confident, or to get that mental strength that you're talking about? Or what are some things that you do?
Read.
Yeah, yes. Reading's big.
Yes, I read. Meditation. Meditation is definitely very important. Definitely. And I need people to know it's not easy to meditate. It is not easy to meditate, especially when you first start off, because your mind just, when you want it to turn off, that's the times it wants to go on full speed, you know? So, so I do that. And I also spend time with myself a lot.
You know what, to be honest, I feel like a lot of people lack the ability to spend time in solitude. You know, they don't like to spend time with they don't like to spend time with themselves. They're always looking for something to do, and when they're by themselves, they feel so uncomfortable. And in my opinion, if you feel uncomfortable while you're alone, then something's wrong.
Well, to be honest, I feel like the world we live in has kind of built us up to be doing things all the time. That's to be doing things and to be with friends, and you know, and then you bring in social media, and now you're looking at it all around the world, right? So it's not like it's really getting better in that sense. It is pushing people to distract themselves from themselves, because then when they are alone, guess what? It's the last place you want to be, and that's not good.
That's not good at all.
Like, at all.
That will hurt. Like, all areas of your life, your work life, your entrepreneur life, your relationship life.
But some people thrive because
being codependent, or because
they're so codependent. So they just make sure that they're not really alone.
Yeah, but I just don't you feel like that catches up to you sometimes.
Yeah, but a lot of people, it doesn't catch up until.
Would you say they're thriving though?
No. So you have to think, they're thriving as far as they know. If someone never takes the time to get to know themselves, or take the time to sit alone and actually realize they don't like their own company,
I think that's such a red flag for themselves.
But some people look past it. Some people just ignore that and go back out.
Yeah.
Every weekend, every night.
It's like, if you can't hang out with yourself, why
They're aware of it. We're always aware of what's going on within us.
Are we?
I'm not going to say in the sense to be like, oh, this is what I need to do right now because this is how I'm feeling. But that off feeling. Yeah, I do believe that we feel that off feeling.
Yeah, that's true.
We don't maybe know where to navigate and what it to like put it to, but we know it. It's there. And I've seen it. I know people that just go back. They don't want to face it. Yeah. And they'll just keep going. Are they thriving? No, I don't think that they're actually doing what they're supposed to be doing or what they were put here to do on this earth. And they may not realize it until it's too late. But
that's scary.
It's the way the game goes.
That's scary. So I have a couple questions for you. I want to know, what is the best advice that you've ever gotten, and what's the worst advice?
Okay.
And you don't have to say no names. It's all good.
Yeah. You know what? Best advice I actually heard.
Okay.
Best advice I've heard. Oh my God, I use it like crazy. And I say it to myself too all the time.
Okay, cool.
To know and not to do is not to know.
To know And not to do is not to know.
Yeah.
To know and not to do. Yeah, no, facts.
Like if you
facts.
say you know something
and you're not doing it,
well, then you don't really know it. Because you know what I mean? Like if you say that you know going to work late is going to get you in trouble, but then you're not going to work. I mean, you're going to work late and you get fired. Don't act shocked. You clearly didn't know what was going to come from it, you know, because if you did know you were going to get fired, then your ass is going to be at work on time.
Okay.
So yeah, that is one of the best pieces of advice. And I use that with my son too all the time because he's always like, I know, mom, and I know. And I'm like, then why aren't you doing?
Facts. That's a bar. Worst advice.
Oh, worst advice. I mean, I've gotten some bad advice. No, I can say, and it's just a simple line and it can go towards so many things, but worry about it later.
Yeah, definitely.
That is one of the worst pieces. And that came from like one of my parents, you know, like worry about it later.
Yeah.
Don't. If something's worrying you, pay attention to it, you know, like worry about it, get it dealt with, because if you push it off, it's going to come back 10 times harder. So yeah, that was a piece of advice and I'd say like you can just look at that in so many different ways, right?
100%.
But yeah, that's one of the worst.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you some more questions since you brought it up. You brought up your parents.
Yeah.
How do you navigate parenting knowing how your parents parented you?
So again, back to being young and just knowing. I just
how
had
old
that feeling.
How old were you when you had your son?
I was 23.
Why do you? Time's flying.
Right?
No,
I know. I was 23 years old when I had my son.
Jeez.
Now that's still older than both my parents.
Yeah.
When they had both me and my brother.
Yeah. So did you know what type of parent you wanted to be as soon as you had your son, or did you navigate through the years? I navigated through the years, and I will say in the most humbling way that I did use my parents' parenting as something I didn't want to do. Okay, fair. So that was what guided a lot of my navigation. You know, like okay, London starts school at 9:15. Waking up, breakfast wasn't a thing. I didn't eat breakfast my whole life. I wasn't a breakfast person. Okay, London's up. We're gonna do breakfast. He's eating that first meal of the day. Exactly. So that's a lot of what helps guide me. Yeah. And then also getting to know myself more and just being aware of myself helps me a lot too with parenting, because I'm raising a human being. He's my son. Yeah, he came out of me, but one day he is going to be out in this world by himself with the influence of me. Yes, but his own mind. And so I want him to be like aware of himself from young, not to have to do all the work that I'm doing now, to just have it naturally installed in him, you know? But every child, like, is no matter what, in my opinion, how easy we want our children's life, they're always going to go through their own trials and tribulations. Oh yeah, and trauma is no matter what. Yeah, no matter what. Trauma's coming with them no matter what. At the end of the day, my son does come from a single mother household, and he goes to his dad's, but that's going to be something later. He's going to have to process in his own way. Yeah, for sure. You can't avoid that. This is life. All right, last question, because I like to make predictions on the show. So in 5 years, I want to play this back and be like, she said that. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? You give me that blank stare like shit. In 5 years, I see myself in a very stable position. Stable. What does stable look like to you? So stable for me is, right now I'm maneuvering and finding, like, I have this business that I've had for 7 years now. Yeah, and real estate I got 2 years ago. And in 5 years, both of those things and whatever else things I have going on are going to be on a schedule. So like I said, I'm still figuring it out, you know?
And as my son grows, and
you're just getting started.
And as I'm being a new parent,
Yeah.
like I'm figuring these things out, and there's no better way to figure them out by actually doing them.
Mm-hmm.
So in 5 years from now, I see myself being where I am today, but 10 times better.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair. And
You can hold me to it.
okay, no, I definitely will. I definitely will. So for the people that want to contact you about business, because you have no social media right now. Actually, when this episode comes out, you will have social media.
I will have social media.
You will have social media.
Yes.
Where can people contact you for anything?
Well, on my social media, absolutely. And then I also have this page here for my salon, which is Tuscany Studio.
Okay.
What
Email
else?
address?
Yeah, email. All of that's going to be on my Instagram.
Okay.
So
when it comes
they can
out,
just
you'll
reach
get it.
out.
All right,
Absolutely.
bet. So that is episode 5 of the Black is the New Rich podcast. We're here at Tuscany Studio in Hamilton. Make sure you guys come check it out because it's a beautiful studio. And she's actually doing renovations, right? Actually, want to talk about quickly about some of the renovations, the new additions that you're that you've added?
Yeah, absolutely. So for the longest time, this place was a tanning studio.
Yep.
And which is lovely, you know, amazing. Tanning has all sorts of things good about it that don't necessarily get publicized because, well, this is just the world we live in. But so right now we're making the transition from just tanning salon to tanning wellness.
Okay.
So I'm looking at tanning a little more from the health perspective. And after going through this COVID and the fact that we live in Canada, we don't see the sun half of the year, like SAD, seasonal depression, things like that are an actual thing. Vitamin D is an actual thing that helps your immune system, your mental health, everything. And I'm going to be bringing in different things that go along with that. So things that are good for your skin and your healthcare and overall just helping you feel a lot better inside and out.
Okay, dope.
Yeah.
And what's that new machine called?
The infrared salt infused
infrared.
sauna.
What does that do? Real quick?
It's an infrared. So infrared light, a lot of people know, helps with like fine lines, wrinkles, and just
cool.
your skin.
So I can look young forever.
Basically. And then also the salt infused is actually good for your immune system, your breathing, if you have asthma, shortness of breath, nose, nasal, everything like that. So that's what the salt's doing. And then it has chromotherapy as well, which is a holistic light therapy. So it basically is just like in marketing and stuff, you use different colors to heighten a different sense in people. So when you drive by the dollar store, it's always yellow because yellow is cheap. So that's why they use that color.
Interesting. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and you learn that in marketing.
Yeah,
that
okay.
I did stay for in school.
Yeah. Interesting.
So chromotherapy is basically a whole bunch of different lights that trigger different things in your body.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I'm really excited about it, and we'll see where it goes.
Okay, dope. And that's a wrap. Episode 5. See you next time.
Everything